He walked alone on the quiet road, thinking it was just another normal night. The sky was dark, the streetlights were weak, and the wind was cold. Everything felt empty and silent until he noticed a strange blue light falling from the sky like a slow-burning star. It moved in a strange zigzag pattern, not like a plane, not like anything human. He stopped walking and stared, confused. The light grew brighter and brighter until it vanished behind the trees with a soft humming sound. He felt a chill down his spine, but he tried to ignore it. Maybe it was a drone, maybe a shooting star, maybe nothing important. He kept walking until something jumped into the middle of the road. He froze, his heart almost stopped. It was a small figure, thin and shaking, standing in the darkness. At first he thought it was a lost child, but when he stepped closer, he saw her clearly. Her skin had a pale silver shine. Her eyes glowed a soft purple, and strange marks moved on her arms like living light. She was not human, she looked like a scared alien girl, alone and hungry. She stared at him with fear, then pointed behind him again and again like something terrible was following her. He looked back but saw only darkness. The trees swayed, the road was empty, but the silence felt wrong. The girl stepped back when he moved, but she did not run. She looked too weak to run. She looked like she needed help, even if she did not trust him. He slowly reached into his bag and took out a piece of bread. He held it out to her carefully. She looked at it for a long second, then her stomach growled loudly. She grabbed the bread and ate like she had not eaten for days. Her hands were shaking, her eyes were full of fear, the marks on her arms glowed softly every time she got scared. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew one thing: she needed help. He whispered softly, "It's okay, I won't hurt you." She pointed behind him again with more force. Her finger trembled, her eyes widened with terror. This time he listened. He turned around slowly. The trees were still moving, but now the sound was different. It was not just wind, it was a slow sharp metallic sound, like blades scraping together far away. It moved closer bit by bit. He felt like something huge was hiding just outside the light of the road, watching them, waiting for the right moment. He felt fear rising in his chest. The alien girl stepped close to him now, hiding behind his leg. Her whole body shook with panic. He did not know why she trusted him, but she did, and whatever she feared was close, too close. "Come with me," he said softly. He took her hand gently and began walking fast toward his small house nearby. The girl followed him without hesitation. That metallic sound echoed again behind them, louder this time, as if something was moving through the trees with purpose. When they reached his house, he locked the door quickly and pulled the curtains shut. The girl stood in the middle of the room, breathing fast. Her glowing marks flickered like warning lights. She looked around as if expecting the walls to break at any moment. He gave her water. She drank fast, almost choking, then she whispered one broken word in a voice full of fear. "Mother." He frowned. "Your mother? Where is she?" The girl shook her head violently, her eyes filled with tears. She whispered again, "Mother, killer." Before he could ask anything, the lights in his house flickered twice and went dark. A deep humming sound vibrated through the walls. The temperature dropped. The girl ran to a corner and covered her ears as the humming grew louder and louder. He looked out the window through a small gap. His breath caught in his throat. Something tall was standing in the dark outside. Its outline was barely visible, but it was shaped like a woman with long sharp limbs. Its eyes glowed red, scanning the house slowly. The air around it shimmered like heat waves, like it was wearing advanced technology that kept hiding and revealing parts of its body. The alien girl began to cry silently. She kept whispering the same word again. "Mother, mother, mother." But her voice was not full of love. It was full of pure terror. The figure outside took one slow step toward the house. Then another. Then another. The humming grew louder. The girl covered her face. He backed away from the window, heart pounding so hard it hurt. Whoever that woman was, she was not looking for help. She was hunting. The front doorknob rattled by itself. Slowly turning. Slowly unlocking. As if an invisible hand was testing it. The girl screamed, her first loud sound since he found her. Her glowing marks burst into bright blue light, lighting the whole room for one terrifying second. And in that flash of light, he saw a shadow standing right behind the door. Tall, silent, and ready to enter. The door clicked open a tiny inch. Just enough to let the cold night air slip inside. He knew one thing. The girl was right. Her mother had found them. And she was an assassin. And she was already inside the house. The door moved another inch, slow like something was testing his fear. The man held his breath. The alien girl grabbed his arm tightly, her fingers cold and shaking. The room was almost completely dark except for the soft blue glow coming from the marks on her skin. Every time her fear grew, the marks glowed brighter like warning signals calling danger closer. He took one step back, then another, trying not to make a sound. The girl stayed behind him, hiding, trusting him even when he himself didn't know what to do. The door finally opened wide enough for a thin line of moonlight to enter the room, but no one walked inside. The silence was worse than footsteps. Silence meant the thing outside was smart, patient, hunting the right moment. He whispered to the girl, "Is she here?" The girl nodded without looking up, her voice cracked as she whispered one word. "Invisible." His heart dropped. If she was invisible, she could be anywhere, maybe already inside, maybe watching them from the corner of the room. He took a slow breath, trying to stay calm. He needed to think, but his mind was spinning with fear. Suddenly, something small slid across the floor. He looked down. It was a piece of metal, shaped like a blade but thin as paper. It moved by itself, turning slowly toward him. The girl gasped. "That is her tool," she whispered. "She marks her target first." He didn't want to be a target, he didn't want to be part of any alien hunt, but he knew running would make noise would expose them. He grabbed the girl's hand and guided her behind the kitchen counter. The house felt alive with danger. Every corner looked darker, every sound heavier. The girl's small device, something like a broken hologram projector, suddenly lit up in her hand. A flickering image appeared above it. It showed a tall alien woman, the same one he had seen outside. Her eyes glowed red, her armor had sharp lines, and her weapons looked deadly. "This, Mother?" he asked quietly. The girl nodded, tears forming in her eyes. "She thinks you stole me. She thinks all humans are enemies." He didn't know whether to laugh or panic. He had only tried to help her, but that act had turned him into prey. Outside, the humming sound returned, louder now, making the walls vibrate. The girl covered her ears, her marks glowing again. Then they heard footsteps inside the house. Soft but precise. 2 steps. A pause. Another step. Slow, controlled, dangerous. She was inside, walking through his home like she owned the space, hunting them room by room. He peeked over the counter. The living room was empty, but a shadow moved near the hallway, a tall shadow stretching unnaturally long across the floor. He ducked back quickly, heart racing. "What does she want?" he whispered. The girl whispered back, "She wants me safe. She wants you dead." A sudden sharp sound cut through the silence. A glass broke in the living room. Then another. Then something heavy fell to the ground. He didn't know whether she was destroying things or searching through them, maybe both. Maybe she was sending a message. Every crash made the girl flinch, every crash made the man's fear turn into cold sweat. He needed to get her out, he had to think fast. He whispered, "We need to run to the back door." The girl shook her head. "She blocked it," she whispered, "she blocks escape always." Before he could react, the lights across the room flashed on for 1 second. In that 1 second, he saw her. She stood at the end of the hallway, tall, armored, invisible no longer. Her mask glowed with symbols he didn't understand. Her eyes burned red, not with anger but with cold calculation. She tilted her head slightly, studying him like he was already dead. Then the lights went out again. Darkness swallowed everything. He held the girl close as the sound of metal blades extended from her arms, a soft clicking sound that echoed through the house like death preparing its steps. The girl whispered with a trembling voice. "She has marked us. She will not stop. She never stops." He swallowed hard. He didn't know how to fight an assassin. He didn't know how to save an alien child. But he knew one thing. Running was the only chance. Even if she blocked the path, he had to try. He held the girl's hand and whispered. "When I move, don't look back." Behind the counter, a faint red glow appeared. Her mother's eyes had found them again. The glow moved closer. Step by slow step. He took a deep breath. Then he grabbed the girl and ran. Ran into the darkness. Ran even though he knew something deadly was right behind them. And the assassin mother followed, silent, precise, unstoppable. He ran through the dark hallway with the alien girl in his arms. His feet hit the floor fast but silent. Every step felt heavier than the last. The girl held on to him tightly, her glowing marks shaking with fear. Behind them, the soft metallic footsteps followed, slow and steady, like a predator that knew its prey could not escape. A cold rush of air passed them. He stopped for a second. Something had moved past them at inhuman speed. Something invisible. Something deadly. The girl whispered, "She is above us." He looked up at the ceiling, trying to see through the dark. It was silent, too silent. That silence felt like a warning. Like the assassin mother was waiting to strike from the shadows. He continued moving, heading toward the back of the house even though the girl had said it was blocked. He needed to try. He needed any exit, even a small chance. But when he reached the back door, he stopped in shock. The entire door was melted, twisted like hot metal pushed by a massive force. A strange black symbol burned onto the surface, glowing faint red. The girl whispered, "Her mark. It means no escape." He felt trapped. It wasn't just a house anymore. It felt like a cage. And the assassin mother controlled every corner. Suddenly, the sound of something falling echoed behind them. A picture frame hit the floor and cracked. He turned slowly. Nothing was there. But he knew she was close. He could feel her presence like cold static touching his skin. The girl tapped his arm and pointed toward the basement door. "It is dark, but safe, for some time," she whispered. He didn't like the idea. Basements meant closed spaces, no windows, no exits. But staying here meant death. He opened the basement door slowly. A cold wind rushed out like the basement itself was breathing. The stairs were old and creaked with every step, but he tried to move quietly. Halfway down the steps, a sudden clicking sound came from above. He froze. The assassin mother was at the top of the stairs, just a shadow with glowing red eyes. Her body was still invisible except for the eyes. Those eyes followed every movement he made. Slow, patient, hungry for the kill. He held the girl tighter and whispered, "Don't make a sound." He stepped down another stair, the wood creaked. The eyes tilted slightly, like the mother was calculating the fastest way to reach them. He felt his heartbeat pounding through his chest. One wrong move and she would jump down faster than he could blink. He reached the bottom of the basement and felt relief for a moment. It was dark, dusty, cold, but there was space to hide. He moved behind old shelves and boxes, holding the girl in front of him. He could hardly breathe. The girl closed her eyes, glowing softly like a tiny candle. She was scared, but she was silent. Above them, the basement door slammed shut. Then the lock clicked from the outside. Then silence. Complete silence. He waited, listening, his hands shaking slightly. Minutes passed. No footsteps. No breathing. Nothing. "Maybe she left," he whispered carefully. The girl slowly shook her head. "No, she watches, always watches." A soft ringing noise filled the basement. It wasn't loud, but it made every hair on his body stand up. The girl's skin began to glow brighter. He asked, "What is happening?" The girl whispered, "She is scanning. She can find heat, sound, fear, everything." Then the basement lights flickered on for the first time. A bright white flash filled the room. He covered the girl's eyes. And in that flash, he saw something horrifying. For 1 second. The assassin mother's cloaking failed. Her tall armored figure appeared at the top of the stairs. Her mask looked almost human but had no mouth. Only glowing lines. Her arms had long metal blades attached. Her body was built for hunting. Her eyes locked directly onto his. The lights went out again. Darkness returned. Then he heard footsteps slowly coming down the stairs. One step. Another step. Each one echoing like a countdown. The girl hugged him tightly. "She has found us," she whispered with a shaking voice. "She never misses once she finds the heartbeat." He knew he couldn't stay in the basement. He needed another exit. He needed it fast. He scanned the basement with his eyes and saw a small metal vent near the floor. Barely wide enough for a child. Maybe wide enough for him if he crawled. But the footsteps were getting closer. The mother's shadow grew larger on the stairs. He took a deep breath, grabbed the girl's hand, and whispered. "We go through the vent, now." The girl nodded, tears shining in her glowing eyes. And as he opened the vent cover, a cold metallic hand touched the back of his neck. Not hurting him. Not cutting him. Just gently touching. Like the assassin mother wanted him to know. She could have killed him already. But she wanted him to feel the fear first. He froze. The girl gasped. The mother whispered something in her alien language. Soft, slow, and terrifying. The girl translated in a trembling voice. She says, "You have 10 seconds to run." He froze when he heard those words, 10 seconds. 10 seconds before an alien assassin mother killed him. 10 seconds before everything ended. The metallic hand on his neck felt colder than ice. It did not cut him. It did not press hard. It only rested there. Like a warning. Like a message saying she controlled every second of his life. The girl grabbed his shirt from the front, tears running down her shining cheeks. "Move," she whispered, "please move." He swallowed his fear and slid himself and the girl into the small vent. The metal edges scratched his arms, but he pushed forward. He heard the assassin mother counting slowly behind him in her alien language. The tone was calm. Deadly calm. Each number sounded like a heartbeat getting closer to its last beat. The girl crawled ahead, her glowing marks lighting the narrow vent tube. He followed fast, breathing hard. The vent was tight, his back scraped against the metal, but he kept moving. Behind them, the mother's footsteps reached the vent opening. He didn't look back. He didn't need to. He could feel her standing there, watching them crawl away like trapped animals. They crawled until the vent opened into a small storage room behind the basement. He pushed the girl out first, then climbed out himself. He shut the vent door quickly, but he knew it would not stop her for long. She was too strong, too smart, too fast. The girl whispered, "She is following." And she was right. The metal vent behind them made a loud banging sound. Something heavy hit it, bending the metal inward. He knew she was punching through it like it was paper. He grabbed the girl's hand and pulled her toward the far wall. There was an old shelf, dusty and broken. Behind it he saw something. A small hatch door he had forgotten long ago. A maintenance exit that led under the old garden shed. Maybe, just maybe, it was their last hope. He pushed the shelf aside as fast as he could. The girl crawled into the hatch first. He followed, closing it behind them just as the vent burst open completely. He heard the assassin mother step into the storage room. Her metal blades scraped against the floor. Her breathing was slow and controlled. Like a machine built for the hunt. They moved through the narrow tunnel under the shed. It smelled of dirt and old wood. But it was the only way out. The girl whispered, "She will track us, she always tracks. He said nothing. He was too tired to speak. Too scared to think. But he knew he had to keep moving. After a short distance, they reached the exit under the shed. He pushed open the old wooden panel and lifted the girl out. Night air rushed over them, cold and sharp. He climbed out and closed the panel behind him. For the first time in hours, they were outside the house. But they were not safe. Not even close. The girl stopped suddenly. Her glowing marks flickered weakly. She turned to him, her voice soft and sad. She doesn't want to kill you fast. She wants to understand why I chose you, why I stayed. He looked into her purple glowing eyes. Chose me, he whispered. The girl nodded. I ran away from my world. I didn't want to be a weapon like her. I saw you because you had kindness she doesn't understand. Before he could respond, the ground under them vibrated. Not like footsteps. Not like something walking. Like something landing. A bright red beam shot into the night sky behind them. He turned slowly and saw her. The assassin mother had jumped out of the house with unbelievable force. Landing silently on the grass. Her armor glowing with red lines. Her eyes burning brighter than before. But there was something strange now. She did not attack. She stood still, staring at them both. Her blades retracted. Her breathing quieter. Almost, controlled. The girl stepped forward, slowly. The man grabbed her arm. No, he whispered, she will kill you. The girl shook her head softly. No, she listens to me sometimes, when she remembers. She walked forward, her small glowing body shining in the dark. Her mother lowered her mask, revealing a face that looked both human and alien. Sharp lines, silver skin, eyes full of cold intelligence and deep pain. The girl spoke in her alien language. Soft, gentle, emotional. The assassin mother listened. Her red eyes dimmed slightly. Her body relaxed. For a moment. One small moment. He thought everything would end peacefully. Then the assassin mother looked at him. Her eyes scanned every part of him. Cold and judging. She raised her arms slowly. Her blade extended. Then stopped only inches away from his throat. The girl screamed. But the mother did not strike. Instead she whispered something long and low to the girl. The girl turned to him with terror. She says, we cannot run anymore. She says, humans are coming. He looked up. Bright white searchlights cut through the trees. Helicopters. Military ones. Dozens of them. They were surrounded. The assassin mother stepped in front of her daughter. Her blades glowing. Her armor locking into attack mode. She wasn't hunting now. She was preparing for war. And the man realized something terrifying. The mother wasn't the only danger anymore. Now humans had entered the hunt too. The searchlights cut through the night like sharp white blades. The air filled with the heavy rumble of helicopter engines. Dust and leaves blew around them. The man covered his eyes as bright lights blinded him. The alien girl held her mother's hand tightly. Her glowing marks shaking with fear. The assassin mother stepped forward, blades shining, armor ready. Her red eyes scanned the sky. She was not hiding anymore. She was preparing to fight an entire army. The man knew what would happen. Humans wouldn't ask questions. They wouldn't listen. They wouldn't understand the difference between a mother and a monster. They would see her as a threat. A weapon. A target. A voice echoed through a megaphone. Unknown entity, drop your weapons or we will fire. The mother growled in her alien language. Not in anger. In warning. She wanted to protect her daughter. At any cost. The girl turned to the man. She thinks humans will take me away. She thinks they will use me. She will fight everyone. He looked at the mother. Her posture was strong, but there was fear behind her eyes. Not fear of being hurt. Fear of losing the only thing she had left. Her child. The girl squeezed his hand suddenly. You must stop her. If she fights humans, she dies. And I die with her. The man had never felt this type of responsibility. He was only one person. A normal human. No armor. No weapons. No alien skills. But somehow he was stuck between two worlds. And both depended on him. The helicopters moved lower. Gun barrels pointed at the mother. The soldiers shouted again. Drop your weapons now, last warning. The assassin mother raised her blades. Her body glowing red with energy. 1 second more and she would attack. The girl cried. No, mother, stop. The mother hesitated. Just for a breath. Just for a heartbeat. He stepped forward slowly with his hands raised high. For the first time that night, he wasn't running. He wasn't hiding. He was standing between a mother and the world. Don't fight, he said loudly. She only wants to protect her daughter. The soldiers shouted back. Move away from the alien. Now. But he didn't move. He stood tall, his body shaking. Not from fear. From determination. He looked at the assassin mother. Her red eyes burned into him. She could kill him in one move. But she didn't. Instead she watched. Listened. Waited. He pointed to the girl. She needs peace, not war. The girl stepped beside him and grabbed his hand. Her marks glowed bright blue. A warm color. A peaceful color. The mother looked at her daughter. Then at him. Then at the soldiers. All of whom were preparing to fire. The night held its breath. Then something unbelievable happened. The mother dropped her blades. They folded back into her armor silently. She knelt down, placing both hands on her daughter's shoulders. Her red eyes softened. For the first time. She showed emotion, not rage. But sorrow. And trust. The girl hugged her tightly. Whispering in their alien language. The mother closed her eyes. She understood. But the soldiers did not. A loud alarm beeped from the helicopters. Someone ordered. Fire. The man grabbed the girl and pulled her to the ground. He expected bullets, explosions, pain. But nothing hit them. A giant shimmering shield appeared over them like a dome. A protective field emitted from the mother's armor. She stood tall again. Not attacking. Just shielding her child. Bullets hit the shield and bounced off in bright sparks. But she never moved. Never struck back. Then she looked at the man. Her red eyes glowing softly. She placed something in his hand. A small triangular metal piece with moving blue lights. Heavy and warm. The girl whispered. She gives you the token. It means, she trusts you with me. Before the man could react. The mother activated her armor. Energy swirled around her like a storm. Her body began to dissolve into light. The girl cried and reached out. Mother. The mother touched her forehead gently one last time. Whispered a final alien phrase. Then vanished into a beam of red light that shot into the sky. Disappearing beyond the clouds. The shooting stopped. The helicopters pulled back, confused. The soldiers didn't understand what happened. They didn't know where she went. But the man understood. She didn't escape. She sacrificed her presence on Earth to save her child. And she left the child with him. The girl looked at him, tears shining. Mother says. You must protect me now. He looked at the glowing token in his hand. It projected something. A map. Coordinates. A location far from Earth. A place he didn't know, but one day might need to find. He looked up at the sky where the mother vanished. And whispered. I will protect you. No matter what comes next. But deep in the forest. Two red eyes flickered briefly. Someone else was watching. Someone not human. And the hunt was not over yet.